Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma, and sorry, folks, it's been a minute since myself and my brother from another mother, A1, Mr. Brian E. Roach, sitting right next to me, has been with us. Brian, what's going on, man? We got some news and stuff to actually talk about since we held on for a minute this week.
It's wonderful. I have a new mustache because I used my Manscaped free plug for them trimmer, and I cut more off than I was supposed to.
Oh, I see that. Hey, there's no need to, you don't have to plug them anymore.
I know, but I like the thing.
I do too. It's still a great product. But you can't use the promo code anymore. So it's kind of pointless in saying it.
Hey, look.
Hey, that's a nice shirt. Hey, put that back up on the screen here. I love how your thing like autofocus. Yeah, I like it, dude. You know what? I almost went with an SCU shirt myself, and I don't know. I picked something else out. One of the default random many of t-shirts that I own from the Steelers Direct Pro Shop, whatever you want to call it, wherever you go and buy your Steelers gear. And that's where I walk out with like garbage bags full of stuff. It's my whole closet. My closet looks like Brian's get up over there, minus the helmets. I'm sure yours does too. We've talked about this before. It was everything but underwear, but I think you finally took care of that.
I have the underwear, I have the socks, I have the shirts, I have my Joey Porter Jr. and Broderick Jones jerseys coming.
Ooh.
Very exciting.
Ooh, see, I wasn't like gutsy enough. I want to make sure
I don't normally do that either.
Yeah,
I don't normally buy first, rookie jerseys.
Oh, we'll have to do a show on that. Like we usually do. We talk about that. I was more worried. I'm like, this Porter State, when they pre-sell the rookie jerseys, they usually aren't going to change their number, but there's a little cause for concern with me that I'm like, these dudes, they change their numbers like too frequently anymore. And single digits are available, 0, which I hear the Steelers aren't a fan of issuing that one. So I don't want to be in any position whatsoever where my jersey goes out of style. And as my luck might have it here. Hold on, let me get a swig. Okay, I hope that wasn't really loudly audible. I gotta get the topics bar up in order. I got some jerseys that aren't going out of style just yet, but before we get to that, Ahkello Witherspoon released yesterday. We hinted at this many times during the off season. Some folks actually seem surprised, et cetera, that he may not be around. What did they save? Like $2.5 million or something off of that. I think he was due 4. And let's see if I could still find his information, because sometimes this gets scraped or deleted from the interwebs. Terminated. Average per year was 4. So $2.5 million on the cap. Cash paid 4. Dead money history would be 1.4. So yeah, I was right. $2.5 million. See, broken clock syndrome here. Right, twice. I got one more where I'll be right. We were just talking, folks. Wait a minute. We were just talking off air about like we should be a little more responsible, and like we're kind of in the journalistic media field. I forgot what we were just talking about, but I didn't know exactly what I was talking about. So there we go. I did know what I was talking about. What are you talking about?
I was going to talk about something, but now I don't remember what it was because you distracted me. But I'm going to try and remember and fail. I don't remember what I was good. I had a point. The point is gone. It is now a pencil nubbin. You
know what? I had that same thing happen earlier today. I have my mom visiting. I went to buy some flowers. I bought some ferns.
Oh, I remember.
Good. Go for it right now before I get on the shrubbery story.
Here's my point. Ahkello Witherspoon was doing one of those. He's not mine's replacement. He's Jan's replacement. Spider-Man meme thing.
Yes. Yeah. Where they're pointing all at the different ones. And they did that. They recreated that with the live action guys with Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield.
Yes, they did.
Garfield. That's his name. That was cool when I saw that and they did like the pointing thing. We need that. Me, you, and Flash. We need to just be like pointing in every direction. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Witherspoon, come on, folks. Like he's He's burnt toast. I don't know. Here's part of the problem. I mean, I liked him. I liked him, but they added Patrick Peterson and drafted 2 corners, and they still signed Levi Wallace last year, who's still under contract. Not a gigantic need for the dude.
No, he's been hurt. He's been on and off the field. He's had moments. He had moments where he was good. He had the opportunity to sort of semi-resurrect himself here. He may get another opportunity elsewhere. He may not, because it's not like he went gangbusters. He started out pretty strong and then kind of fizzled away. And they got new bodies, so the old bodies gotta go.
Yeah, and just for that point, he's never played a full season anywhere. Like San Francisco, 12 games rookie season, 14, 10, 11, 9 with the Steelers 2 years ago, 2021, and then only 4 games last year for any variety of reasons. I don't remember him starting out on IR. Was he just beat up all the time? I don't know if he was on IR at any point.
I don't know.
Or not. I don't remember either, but that makes you expendable. We always talk about the best ability is availability, and they held on to him. Some people said, I saw somebody was actually tweet this at whoever reported it, somebody out there, one of the PG guys, Kabali at the Athletic, someone. And they said, why didn't they trade this guy for a 5th round draft pick? Oh yeah, they're going to get a 5th rounder or a pair of 5th rounders, I think it said, because they didn't have 5th round picks, right? Why did they do this earlier and get a 5th round pick? Like, because nobody's going to trade for a guy that's going to play a quarter of a season.
Yeah.
It's just,
look, as a longtime Steelers fan, we can trade anybody for anything.
Yeah, maybe a box of Cracker Jacks or whatever, but that's just the sad fact of it. I mean, sometimes these guys are like cattle. I mean, you can't, sorry. I mean, it's the business side of the business. And yeah, okay. You're not on screen, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Let's move on. There's some guy named Manny Jones that plays defensive end that the Steelers just added the other day as well, because Renell Wren, you might remember him.
I might.
That's about the most I think I could tell you about Manny Jones and Renell Wren. Renell Wren goes to IR. His season's
I'm going to give you a little factoid that has just as much relevance to my view of the season as these 2 factoids, the Wren factoid and the Manny Jones factoid. There's a mayor in England who, at his inauguration, played Metallica. That's my kind of mayor.
Okay. You go right on. Rock on, dude. I've seen them twice in concert. I'm overdue. I don't think they're touring. They haven't toured since. I don't think I've seen them.
They are
at the last one. Are they this year?
Yeah.
I have to check that out. Everybody's touring this year, it seems like, and
I'm just not willing to spend $1 billion for the tickets, so I won't go.
I know, man. It's like the daughter. Now don't roast me. Your daughter might be in the same situation, but I'm not paying my daughter's college fund to go see Taylor Swift.
Well,
even for her, she can't go by herself.
Free. Let me tell you a little Taylor Swifty story here. Taylor Swifty, when she was just little Tug McGraw or Bill McGraw or whatever that frickin' song was, I almost said the F-bomb and I didn't do it. That's how annoyed I get with the Taylor Swift. All right, so the Taylor Swift had to ruin one of my Steelers games because her butt came out and played at halftime and I was there and it annoyed the crap out of me. That's the only time I saw Taylor Swift. It's the last time I saw Taylor Swift. It's the last time I listened to a Taylor Swift song. I want nothing to do with no Taylor Swift.
I don't recall Taylor Swift for doing that. Are you sure it was Taylor Swift? It wasn't
100% positive.
Taylor Swift.
Did she do that Tug McGraw song or whatever it is?
I don't know, man.
One of her first
You're talking
songs,
to the wrong guy. We were just talking about Metallica, and you think I know anything about Taylor Swift? That was just based on I know the ticket prices are out of this world, and that the kid asked.
Nothing to do with it.
So
I can't listen to that crap. It's crap. It's a bunch of crap.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that I go that far. I mean, she's made a lot of money talking about all of her bad relationships. That's about as much as I know about it. But Manny Jones, he played. He's claimed off waivers. So defensive tackle, defensive end type, played 4 games last year for the Arizona Cardinals. He had a combined 6 tackles in those games. Never got to sniff the quarterback or tackle for loss or sack.
I believe Metallica played 4 songs at this guy's inauguration.
Oh?
I made that part up. I don't know.
Manny Jones. But anyways, Manny Jones, potentially a camp body, so we don't have a lot to say about him, other than, let me see, 6'4", 290. So he fits in that same Steelers mold of it, hovering in the 300.
Welcome aboard the moving train.
Yes, jump on. Well, is the train moving that much yet? I mean, it was the rookie camp. We're getting there.
Train is always moving.
Train never stops.
Train never stops.
Runaway train. Now that's REM. Never coming back. Wrong way on a one-way track, my friend. So,
True.
anyways, this show's a runaway train already. Welcome aboard.
Off-season, my friend.
Well, it is the off-season. That's why there's one show this week, because this is what we have. This is what we have to work with, folks. Manny Jones, and well, this is a little bit better. There's some excitement here.
A little bit. I know that Zackadonia Flash, Zacka Flash. I got to get a new nickname for Zach.
Yeah.
Because Zackadonia is now played. I can't have it. And Flash is cool, and I can't just use a cool nickname. So I have to kind of meld them in Flashadonia, Zacka Flash. I don't know. I'll come up with something. Anyway, I know
it's
he's
his birthday.
hyped.
It's his birthday, by the way. I believe today is actual birthday.
Honestly? Is it really his birthday today?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So happy birthday, yes,
young man. In all sincerity, love you, brother. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm kind of pumped for Hakeem Butler. He could make some waves. You know.
Yeah, I was trying to look up his XFL stats. He led the XFL in receiving this season. Let's see, as the St. Louis Battlehawks. 51 catches, 599 yards in 10 games. And he's 27 years old. So that's always a good thing when you're talking about like age and stuff. He's not like washed, you know what I mean? Yeah. And St. Louis had one of the better offenses in the XFL entirely. So that's a pretty big deal too. You know what we didn't mention also was what was this guy's name?
Why is he playing against a guy from Miami?
No, that's the XFL jerseys, my friend.
That's the University of Miami guy over there, isn't it?
No, that's the Rock, Dwayne Johnson and his ownership. He's got the Rock symbol and the Under Armour tie-in on all of the XFL. I think that's pretty solid, but it reminds me of the Detroit Lions with the St. Louis Battlehawks there. But
that one's okay. I can live with that one. The other one looks like a college.
I'm trying to remember who that other one. I don't think that's the Houston jersey. Not that it matters. That might be Vegas.
Who cares?
That might have been Vegas. But San Antonio, from the San Antonio Brahmas, if we're talking on the cornerback side, I think Luke Barku, also 24 years old. He originally played with the Jacksonville Jaguars, an undrafted rookie out of San Diego State in 2020. He had 31 tackles, a pick, and a sack playing with San Antonio in the XFL. So Hakeem Butler was a fourth-round selection. If you out there, I almost said you all. I never say you all. That is not part of my psyche. It's not part of my fiber or my upbringing. It's just I'm annoyed by it. When I see you all and I see y'all, Yins needs to take over. That just drives me nuts. But Butler, 27, former fourth round pick, Arizona Cardinals. We liked him. That was back in 2019 in that draft. We were kind of surprised that he went that far. You know what I mean? He didn't really get any traction, and he kind of fell out of the league. Now, did you hear or see his whole story? This was posted like out on Twitter, and it was like a personal text message, or maybe a DM or something that he sent to the coach of the St. Louis Battlehawks. Said I missed the whole draft process, this and that. Can I still jump in or get a shot with this team? Like, he wasn't even like considered or put into that pool to play in the XFL, and goes from that to parlaying it into, now he should have been over at the Steelers rookie camp. I'm not sure what the whole story was with that, but he's coming to mini camp, at least signed. Still kind of a tryout type phase. I know a lot of folks are very excited about that. I am too. 6'5", 227. You can't teach that. So that's a big dude.
It's a big, tall guy.
Of all the Steelers receivers, I don't really know. Like, I'm going to go down the list here. Who do we think? Like, does anybody have this kind of size as far as
Darnell Washington? But he's a tight end.
But no, Darnell Washington's like a tackle.
He's Plexico Burress with more weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So Calvin Austin's 5'9", 162. Miles Boykin, 6'4", 220. That's where this might get a little muddied. Butler's got to play some special teams. Is the outplay? They brought Boykin back, of course.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Bradley, 6 foot, 198. Hakeem Butler, officially on the roster now. Dan Chisnia, 6'3", 203. Des Fitzpatrick, 6'2", 208. I mean, Butler, you would think, should outplay all of those guys. Deontay Johnson's only 5'10". Anthony Miller's only 5'11" as well. They're shy of 200 pounds. Gunnar Olszewski, 6 foot, 190. You got to think that he's got to be feeling the heat about now with all of these wide receivers that keep getting added to this depth chart. George Pickens is 6'3", 200. Allen Robinson, 6'2", 220. Cody White, that was the one I was thinking. I was like, is Cody White a little taller? So he's got everybody. I mean, the tallest guy to this point was Boykin at 6'4". He's got him by an inch. He's got everyone else by at least 2, if not like a half foot. Jordan Byrd's the other dude here. He's kind of a return guy, 5'9", 170. So there's going to definitely be some competition in camp, and Hakeem Butler offers that. I like it. I like it. It's anything you could do to improve the roster. And as this is titled at the bottom here, Omar Khan probably isn't done yet. And there's still some other things that were happening this week. Brian, anything else to say about Butler or the wide receivers?
Welcome aboard.
Okay. That's fair enough.
The moving train.
The moving train. The locomotive. Locomotion. Did you do the locomotion back in the 80s?
I did not do the locomotion. I did the locomotion back in the 70s.
Oh,
when Grand Funk Railroad put out the locomotion, not that Tiffany chick.
Okay. Well, that's
more of that
80s
pop music.
80s, 90s. Hey, that's right there with Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer and the skate parties I used to do as a youth.
You
don't
can't
ask.
touch this.
You ever see a baby giraffe on roller skates? That would have been me. Don't crash into the wall. So. Oh man, some good times. So we're going to move on. We've got, we thought we were done with this. We haven't really talked about quarterbacks all off season. This was in the rear view mirror, long gone. This was the gift that kept on giving last year. And now we're back to it, man. Mitch Trubisky reportedly from Sir Omar Khan, a 2-year extension. So they're tacking on some more. I had actually tweeted out when the next guy on this list is, well, you know what? Let's just lump them both together. I think this is going to make, this is going to make the most sense. I would have done that, but the topics bar is still a work in progress. I don't know that we could add all of these guys. So Mitch Trubisky, and then let's highlight it, and we'll put Mason Rudolph gets a highlight there too. Boom. Yeah, there you go. Mason, we're talking about you again. So my cousin goes, hey, I don't have to throw my number 10 jersey into retirement, the archive, the trash bin, or whatever. He bought one real early, even before Pickett was drafted, which I thought was a little premature. But you know what, man? They're coming from another place that it's not quite as expensive for some of this material that you're purchasing. I can neither confirm nor deny that my Mason Rudolph jersey that's coming out with no mothballs on it just yet may be from the same place. But I digress. Both jerseys are in play here. I do feel that Mason's signing and coming back. Did we see any official numbers or anything? I assume it was a 1-year deal. Let me see. I think the Steelers had it on their transactions. Yeah, 1-year deal. The same as Luke Barku and Hakeem Butler. So Mason comes back, and a lot of people were like, and I was like, well, this could be Mitch's out of town because that contract saved $8 million. I'm like, something's got to be done with that. And I was thinking, one, maybe he asked for a trade. He had some things that weren't exactly polite to say at the end of the season. Yeah. But the organization had said that they'd like to keep him around. And Jerry Dulac was very vehemently saying this doesn't mean he's going anywhere, and I'm like, well, I think something's going to happen now because this is leverage at the very least that Mason Rudolph is back in town. And would Mason sign if he didn't think the situation was any different? Well, Mason's probably signing because nobody else is going to at this point, which I felt was a little unfair for him. But the thing that wasn't said enough, and I know Flash was saying this, he was putting this out in the Twitterverse, we talked a million times, something had to happen with this. I didn't necessarily say it. I thought maybe a trade was coming, a release was coming because June 1st, he's due more money. Something had to be done with that contract. This part of it was done. We said it a long time ago. It wasn't in my, immediate thought process here. It was more in my subconscious. So 2-year deal. We don't know all the financials, but it's going to lower that $10 million cap hit because Trubisky was probably, if not the highest paid backup quarterback in the entire National Football League, and that's just that's a little bitter pill to swallow, I would say. I don't mind him as a backup, Brian, but I don't want to pay this dude. If you could save $8 million, you got to save that money.
Yeah, I have no problems with Mitch as a backup. I have no problems with Mason as a backup. And I've said that all along. I don't want either one of them as my starter, but as a backup, can maybe get him through a game, a quarter, two. But I agree with you. I'm not thrilled with the expense that's associated with it, but it's the kind of stuff you can get away with when you got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Or on a rookie deal.
Yeah, on a rookie deal, but I still wasn't going to pay him that much. I said you got to see what Mason's contract really is as to whether they would have moved on from Mitch as well. I said if they signed Mason for more than 4, which I still haven't seen an actual number, I kind of doubt he's at 4 as a QB3.
Well, and considering that he got less sniffing than the 17-year-old dog turd in my front yard by my dog gets,
Yeah, which is odd for a guy that got some playing time and was looked at a lot in the draft process that year. And I find it just really strange. Maybe teams are just too enamored with the entire mobile quarterback type deal. I was thinking to myself, like Ben DiNucci ended up going to the Broncos, and he was doing pretty swell in the XFL himself, even though, I like the whole idea of the spring football. I like the opportunities to bring some guys that might give them a little seasoning, gives them some opportunities to sharpen the tools and maybe some experience they otherwise wouldn't have. So you learn by making mistakes. I'm a firm believer in that. And these guys got to make mistakes, and they're not going to be allowed to make it in the NFL. There's too much money involved. Now in the XFL, that's where you could go and make your mistakes. And as far as Mason Rudolph as a quarterback 3, if any of you are really that upset about it, go piss up a rope as far as I'm concerned, because it's
what does that actually look like? How do you do that?
You can't. That's the whole point. You're raining on your own parade.
It's like I can't even picture you, like, you're just aiming at the top of the rope. Hey, I don't know.
It's a lot more difficult if you're one of the 2% of females watching the show that now have got a kick out of that as well. Well, you piss down the rope too, I guess. But Mason Rudolph coming back, he has some starting experience. He knows the entire system throughout. I thought for sure what was going to happen, and what might still happen here is that Bryce Perkins may arrive in Pittsburgh as your QB4 to come to camp, and he's got a little bit of experience too with the Rams. I think that would be a pretty solid move. I don't know that Omar Khan is necessarily finished with everything when it comes to moves, but now the quarterback holes are completely sealed up, and you have to think, or you have to imagine, that the Steelers have one of the better quarterback situations in the entire National Football League. I mean, let's face it, last year, how many quarterbacks did the San Francisco 49ers go through? All of them. Like, they were supposed to have Trey Lance initially. They somehow convinced Jimmy Garoppolo, who did not participate in training camp, to return. And then on top of that, they ended up going to Brock Purdy, who probably won't be available or ready for the home opener in Pittsburgh week 1. But he's still a guy, the Mr. Irrelevant. Everybody now was throwing darts at every quarterback that was available in the 6th and 7th round, maybe trying to find another Purdy. I think he's a product of the system with Kyle Shanahan, quite frankly. But that still surprised me that this, Mason didn't get any looks out there. Somebody's just gonna be like, well, that's because he sucks. And it's like, well, yeah, but so do a lot of other guys. I would much rather have. I don't mind Mitch as a backup. I did mind Mitch as a starter. I've always said that. And I've always said, as a backup, hey, Mike Tomlin likes having veteran quarterbacks. You got a guy that's mobile. You got a guy that could simulate a lot of the same things that Kenny Pickett can do. Why not have somebody like that? And then as your third guy in your emergency case, you have Mason Rudolph. You could do a lot where it's much better than having somebody you draft in the 7th round that's never taken an NFL snap. So, Brian, you with me, man? You got a lot of noise.
I'm sorry. I got noises and
everything's just blowing up. I've been hearing
asking me questions that I don't really want to answer. But
you've got everything going probably at like the same time. You've probably got like Teams, you got Slack, you got your phone, you got everything's just blowing up. So,
okay. So Mason said this from the get-go. I'm perfectly content to have Mason Rudolph understand his role and come play, right? So, if they sign him, if the number is reasonable, which I think it will be, because I don't think he had a lot of other offers. And I think it's pretty clear they weren't enamored heavily of the quarterbacks they had in rookie minicamp.
And anyone else that was potentially available to come in.
So, you make the decision. All right, nobody else is barking up that tree. Let's see if he's, open to a conversation which indicates to him, hey, we're going to give you some money. It's more than you can make in your real world job that maybe you have to find if you don't sign someplace else. And all you really have to do is carry the clipboard and talk and hopefully never play.
I still think he can get you through. He's got a deep ball, and we saw it with George Pickens.
Let me emphasize this.
The
only reason you say
hopefully
we'll never play is because then that means Kenny's hurt and Mitch is hurt, right?
Yeah.
It's not that you are like, oh God, please don't let Mitch Rudolph. Yeah, I'm just going to combine the two. They're just now that's
if we Mason
Trubisky, Mitch Rudolph, same guys, right? And the dog approves of that.
Just everything going. That's okay. I got landscapers that are starting to bang around over here too. It's a comedy of errors. We just finally get on together, and then all of a sudden it's like everying sure you didn't get buzzed at all up until that
this
point.
This has been all week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point being, it's not that you don't want him to play. You don't want him to play because it means the other guys are hurt. If he plays, the reason you have him there is because you at least have some level of confidence that he can perform adequately enough.
That's good enough. And I'm kind of a big fan, too, of having both of these guys. This is just all continuity. This is going to help Kenny Pickett. You got two veterans that could help them out.
Look at that picture with Mr. Joey
Biscuit.
Porter Jr. pick sitting there in the background.
That's not a Mr. Joey Porter Jr. That's that is formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Chase Claypool, I believe.
Who turned into Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, okay. You got me there. Sorry, man. I was not quick enough to pick up what you were putting down.
You could not hear the words that were coming out of my mouth. You could not understand the words that were coming out of my mouth.
Oh, I do a pretty good. Is that Damon Wayans, I believe?
Oh, that's Chris Tucker.
No. That's Rush Hour. That's Chris Tucker.
That's Chris Tucker.
That's Chris Tucker with Jackie Chan in the Inferior Karate Kid movie. No, that was Rush Hour, but Jackie Chan also of the Inferior. My kid's like, wait, there's another Karate Kid movie. It's like, yeah, we pretend that one didn't exist. Like the one with Hilary Swank, we could do that. It's still got Mr. Miyagi and stuff, but Jackie Chan, and I love Jackie Chan. But Chris Tucker, you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? He had like that thing, like that really high-pitched voice at the end of that. Yep. So I love it. I haven't seen those in forever. But our last topic here, you probably saw this on the bar and you're like, what are these guys talking about? I don't think Omar Khan's finished. I think he realizes that there is, like my flowers outside, still a hole that needs the void needs filled on the Steelers roster, and that is the depth at inside linebacker. There's also some folks out there that are like concerned that maybe like Cole Holcomb or somebody like that isn't going to be ready for the season. I've not seen or heard any real reports, but I see the nonsense. I see the chatter. People just come up and they make things exist, and I haven't seen any of that. I don't think the Steelers give him a 3-year deal if he's not healthy and able to play, or Landon Roberts or any of these other guys. But Kwon Alexander, why hasn't it happened yet? Probably because I think this is one of those, let's talk to him, let's see where he is, let's see if this is a fit. I think it's one of those that happens after June 1st, so it doesn't hit like their compensatory formula picks and the free agents and everything like that. And then I think he might join the roster because it depends on, I guess, what he might sign for. But I don't think they're done. I think they're going to add some other body to this room because right now, who's there, Brian? I got to look it up, to be completely honest. Besides Holcomb and Roberts, you got Mark Robinson and...
not a whole hell of a lot else.
No, there's nobody else there, brother. So they need some more help, and Kwon is one of them. And I people are still talking about edge too, but Kyle Vanoy is a name that keeps coming up. But there hasn't been like any talks that I know of. There was just like the emoji with the eyeballs at Brandon Fehoko or whatever. And it was kind of random. And then everybody's like, oh, well, this guy plays for the Steelers and Vanoy is a free agent. So just like JJ Watt talking with Mike Tomlin or whatever and visiting, he's going to sign. He's going to play for the Steelers. And I'm like, well, there's probably a little more smoke around the fire that is Kwon Alexander.
I mean, actually, I kind of hope so.
Yeah.
I would relish seeing a grouping of Kwon Alexander and Holcomb as your two primary starters, Landon Roberts as your primary backup, and then get Mark Robinson involved as he matures into the position. I like that group. I like it quite a bit. But we'll have to wait and see. I do agree edge is the other position. I also agree with the premise of our show today. Our show today, let's review, children, is Omar Khan is not finished reshaping the Steelers roster. I agree with that because you're right. I will tell you my mind went down a completely different avenue when you said there was a hole that needed to be filled, but I'm not going to go there.
It's the one for my straw, folks. We keep it clean. It's a family show.
We really try, but we do not succeed.
I was starting to tell you about the shrubberies. Got some ferns. They're not quite shrubberies, but we like to say shrubberies because of Monty Python.
Monty Python.
Here, speaking
there you
of,
go, Tina. That's for Tina Rivers right there.
No, Hakeem Butler
was Python.
No, Hakeem Butler was for Tina.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the Iowa boys there. So Iowa State, I believe, not Iowa proper or whatever they call it. They don't call it the Iowa State University because that would be, I think,
pointless
infringement. Pointless. Wow, you're gonna get smoked by her later. Okay, so who's behind Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts, you may ask? Such illustrious names as Mark Robinson, who, don't forget, only had 1 year in college as an inside linebacker. As much as we do like him, it's still a work in progress. This isn't the guy where one of the other guys gets hurt and you want him to play 80 snaps in a game. Tanner Muse, more a special teams guy. Chappelle Russell.
All right.
Yeah, well, no, that's not Dave Chappelle.
That
was
my Bob's Burgers
Russell
wife's imitation.
Tate Crowder. And there you have it, folks. That's the entire list of inside linebackers. Like, something else needs to happen there. Unless they were to move Herbig over, which is what you said won't happen because he's little. He's a little for that spot. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a fire plug he is out there with the Steelers. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up, Brian. It is a shorter show. It's like we're lucky we're able to compile and cobble together all of these things for today. So we're very happy that you 2%ers have checked in. And don't forget to check out some of the other programming that we have had over the last couple of weeks, because you know what? None of this stuff is, you know what? The Steelers aren't done. I forgot about one other guy. They got an offensive tackle, Dylan Cook.
Oh, okay.
That they added. He was from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That reshapes the roster too. That's it. Destined for the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, well, he's a second-year guy. Would be more of a camp. I hate saying the words camp body, but
let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. The last time they had a guy named Cook on this roster, they won the Super Bowl. That's a sign. It's a sign, my friend. Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they may have had a Jones or a Smith as well. They did not have a Watt yet. No Watt.
Oh.
They had a guy named Roethlisberger on the roster too.
They did.
Roethlisberger, Harrison, Polamalu, you name it. So it feels so long ago. Oh,
let me ask you this: you've been watching the footballing?
Here and there. I
enjoy it, but I got to tell you, an hour and a half of it is tough for me to take. I don't have an hour and a half time to dedicate to Ben and football. But I watched the Tomlin episode almost all the way through. I watched the Cowher episode.
I got to catch up.
I watched the Debo episode. I don't know if he's had Troy on yet or not, but
not to my knowledge.
I watched those three and I enjoyed them quite a bit. in between the weird beers that they drink and the food that they, because I don't really care about that. But
yeah, it's in my humble opinion here, good stuff, good content. Maybe it's spread out a little too far there. Like, we could make this show like 2 hours long if I started drinking beer, you started drinking random energy drinks and whatnot. You don't even do that anymore. What would you need? You need like flavored water.
True North. I drink True North in the mornings. 2 True Norths before I go to the gym. Then I don't do any more caffeine the rest of the day.
Gotcha. I do just the coffee. We could do different coffees or something like that. And I don't know what, like, we're separated by space, my friend. I don't know how else we'd be able to do
and
food.
I don't want to share your coffee. I don't want to drink it.
What about,
I don't like
and you don't like breakfast
stuff.
foods either. So
Correct.
you can't even do like,
food.
and then if we record the show like in the afternoon or evening, you can't do breakfast foods.
This is going to stun you.
Uh-oh.
You're going to be floored by this.
I'm ready to be amazed.
A couple days ago, we couldn't figure out what to eat for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner?
Picked up my wife, went to the diner, local diner, Meadows Diner here in Jersey, South Jersey, very nice little diner. And she's like, "What are you going to get?" I said, "I'm going to get the Lucky Twos." She's like, "What the hell's the Lucky Twos?" 2 pancakes, 2 French toasts, 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon, and 2 sausage links.
Oh, that sounds amazing. It almost sounds like, see, I avoided doing that because I knew I was going to have a big dinner today, but I took Mom over to Big Boy. And Big Boy has a very good, because our Chick-fil-A, I love the Chick-fil-A
Bob's
breakfast.
Big Boy or the Frisch's Big Boy?
Frisch's Big Boy.
There you go.
Yeah, Frisch's Big Boy. Oh, yeah. I'm a Big Boy fan. Very much so. The breakfast buffet is killer.
That's probably more information than we needed to know about you, Joe.
Dude, man, I barely got anything like coffee's a killer.
Boy,
I don't know how. I spent almost $30 on just 2 people. My mom.
Once again, senior. Folks, 2%ers. That's just going right over his head.
I you know what? I actually didn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
I said, you like the Big Boy, don't you? You're all about the Big Boy.
Hey, I do not discriminate, my friend. Yes, but oh man, I got a really bad Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back quote that could go in there. But as to not be all the way, I see women on the side or whatever, but this guy over here, 100%. He loves the Big Boy. So, oh man, for anybody who gets that, a little bit of the View Askew-averse stuff there, Brian wasn't paying attention to it, but that's when they had the orangutan.
I liked me some Bob and Silent J, Bob crap, whatever the hell it was.
With Will Ferrell.
Giant. The giant poop. Was the giant poop monster them, or was that that was the other movie, the biblical end of the world one that you can't find anywhere?
No, the rights are all tied up to everything unless you buy it on a DVD, and the only way
pay $4 million for it because there's like 8 of them out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. There's a few movies like that. Ransom with Mel Gibson's another one that's like wild. You try and go out and find it. Now, another one that's like that's seemingly everywhere if you're streaming. Since we've become football and now we're going to talk movies, folks. One last tidbit for the 2%ers: True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold. That one's like out everywhere right now, and I was like, oh my goodness. I watched it the other night. I haven't seen that movie in ages, and it holds up pretty darn well. Jamie Lee Curtis too, I should mention.
I don't want to be in the truck anymore. Next time you be in the truck. I'm tired of being in the truck. I've been in the truck for 11 years.
There's some great one-liners in that one. I love that movie. He has the oh geez, I'm trying to think what he said to the main villain at the very end when he one of the better villain deaths in a movie is like they're on the I don't know, F-15, F-16, whatever fighter jet, and he's stuck on the rocket, and then it's just like you're I think he's like, you're fired. And then he takes out the other helicopter with the whatever. I suppose they're supposed to be like Middle Eastern terrorists or whatever. They don't specify for many reasons as to.
And pretty soon I'm going to take that truck over there and stick it in your head, and then I'm going to break your neck.
Yeah. And I was thinking about snapping your neck. Okay. And he's like, oh, and how do you suppose you'll do that? He's like, because I picked my handcuffs. The only thing better than that is The Simpsons, where it's like Troy McClure, and then they have like the Arnold knockoff or whatever. It's like, hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such podcasts as the Steel City Underground podcast and, whatever other ones we've been on over in the past. The Aussie Guys.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch with my
Talk to them.
Aussie friends. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Good dudes.
Yeah. So anyways, Brian, thanks for joining us once again. I think we'll put a bow on this since we're just rambling about like random. We went into deep waters, but there is an Expendables 4 coming out this year, so we could talk about all of these things. It ties in somehow. I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know. And some people actually do enjoy the banter. We'll try. You know what? We have a live show that'll be coming up soon enough, and I pitched it in the comments section. I haven't been able to get in there this week. Yeah. Maybe like after Memorial Day weekend or something like that. We'll get on the horn and we'll just BS with everybody. You know what I mean? I think that'll be fun. And if you have any ideas for the show,
let's do it. We could make it. Call it an Ask Us Anything show.
Ask us just about anything. There are areas I will not delve into, so there's like an asterisk.
No, whatever he won't answer, I will.
Yeah, well, it could be some foreign.
I'll still answer. It may not be a real answer, but I'll answer it.
Yes, Dylan. I'm getting more information on the Dylan Cook stuff as we're doing this. 2020. Oh, he was off the Bucks practice squad. Dominant force on the offensive line for Montana University. 27 games, 23 starts in 2 seasons. So, two-time academic All Big Sky. Phil Steele, 4th team All Big Sky. Nominated for the William Campbell Trophy, known as the Academic Heisman. And anchor of that offensive line, he helped Montana post its first 1,000-yard rusher since 2014. So an FCS guy, nonetheless, maybe somebody that the Steelers can prime mold some camp competition. Anyways, folks, my name's Joe. His name's Brian, and we sincerely thank you for joining us wherever you might be watching or listening. We're gonna let Brian get back to all of his buzzes, and at least it's not barn noises. So it's a
barn noises.
So yeah. Until next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.
What the hell are we doing with barn noises?
I don't know. It's because they played the Old MacDonald Had a Farm song at the minor league baseball game the other day I was at. They had these cute little kids. This was the sign off. The music was about to play. And I faked all of yous out. So this is extra content, the bonus content. They brought out the little kids in like a pig outfit and a cow, and the ducks, they had 3 of them. And these are all like 3-year-olds. They're like toddlers, and they're almost tripping on the stuff. It was adorable, hilarious, fun. It was all good.
What we need to do?
No, I don't.
We need to jump into the Marvel universe and have an after credits scene.
Oh, that's what this just was.
Well, except it wasn't, because we didn't really play the credits, right?
You know what though? I'm gonna chop it up and I'm gonna edit it right into here, and then
now
everybody
it's an
will know
after-credits
because I've
scene?
said it. Yes, end credits scene. Little
Okay,
spoiler.
good, because here you go. This is the spoiler that's in the after credits scene. Start thinking about who wants to go to my preseason game tickets, because I'm not going to preseason. So whoever wants to, start thinking about the reason I need to give you my preseason tickets. There you go. After show.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. C'est la vie.